الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقال له تبارك وتعالى في الكلام القديم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. My dear respected elders, Hajis, Haji, brothers and sisters and children, after greetings and recognition of Allah's bounty stars, and certainly this period, my dear brothers and sisters, in the month of Zilhaj, and we have to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to live through this period, experience today, and inshallah experience becoming of the year for the new year. We must also recognize that possibly most pilgrims would have been on their way or close to the Holy Land, and of course we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take them there safely, give them the ability to perform all the rites that they had to perform successfully, give them Hajj Mabrur, inshallah, and take them back to us safely. Today's khutbah, inshallah, is to be a bit topical, but to deal with something in crisis not only in our country but throughout the world. But first of all, my dear brothers and sisters, the leader of mankind, may Allah be pleased with him, has said, there is no day which is more beloved to Allah than him being worshipped on the 10 days of Zilhaj during this period until Friday, as mentioned here, Friday coming. Each fast of these days is equivalent in reward to the fasting of an entire year, and standing in prayer at night is equivalent to the Qiyam standing in prayer on the night of Laylatul Qadr. So we must recognize the virtue that is present during this period and try to cash in as much as possible. Fasting during the days of these last 10 days, standing in salat, in zikr, sitting in zikr, whatever ibadah that we can perform that will bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course, Thursday coming is one of the special days that we can fast, and the night is a special night that we can stand before the actual sacrifice on Friday, inshallah. But as I said, it's not only to recognize what is topical, because this would have been dealt with, but also males in crisis. And we are looking at the period of male leadership, of leadership on the whole, referring to us and how we can be amongst those who re-establish the masculinity of males so that we can take the position that Allah wants us to take, Vicegerent here on earth. For Allah says in Al-Quran, Surah 2, verse 2, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قَالُوا أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَن يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Allah says, behold, thy Lord says, or said it to the angels, I will create a vicegerent on earth, you and I, and especially males. They said, will thou place there in one who will make mischief, jeering, and shed blood? Whilst we do celebrate the praises and glorify thy name, he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I know what ye know not. And I checked the commentary on this a little bit, to show strong how the position of vicegerent is in terms of all the other creations, both on earth and in the heavens. And we must recognize what sacred position Allah has placed us in. We may suppose the angels had no independent wills of their own. Their perfection, in other ways, reflected Allah's perfection. But listen to this. But could not raise them to the dignity of vicegerency. The vicegerency that Allah gave to us. The perfect vicegerent is he who has the power of initiative, independent thinking. But independent of whom and what? The power of initiative himself, but whose independent action always reflects perfectly the will of his principal. Who is our principal? Anytime we are thinking independently, and we are to think independently, it must be guided by our principal, and our principal being Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we will pay justice to vicegerency, my dear brothers and sisters. And therefore, when we look throughout the world, throughout society, and we don't have to look far, we look in our homes, we look in our schools, we see failings of men. And therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, women are standing their ground and taking leadership roles. Men and standing their ground and taking leadership role that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed on them. Therefore, we, and it is proclaimed throughout the world, this proclaimed, and we can only look to our families, we can only look to our school, we can only look to our country to see the crisis that we are in. When our boys are losing their masculinity and our females are picking up some sort of masculinity that is strange to the feminine gender. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm not bashing females because they are standing their own, and if we allow them, they will lead us. And in some cases, they are leading us. So what do we do? And how do we respond to the leadership yoke that is placed on our necks? I refer to the example of our dear Prophet, Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ishmael. And indeed, when we look at their commitment to the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is a true example, and in this time all of us, our eyes should be open to the leadership, not only of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of the leadership of Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ishmael in terms of our responsibility here on earth. Al-Quran says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu idza nuddi lis-salati min yawmil jumu'ati fasa'u ila zikrillahi wa zarul bay'a zalikum khayrun lakum in kuntum ta'lamun. And I'm making it, my dear brothers and sisters, to our basic responsibility of vicegerent and therefore imamat, because all of us are supposed to be imams, imams of our homes, imams of our community, and imams of the country. And therefore you will find that less of the others will emerge if we accept the responsibility placed upon. The meaning of what I just recited is, oh, you believe, when the call is made for the assembly prayer on Friday, hasten to the remembrance of Allah and leave all business. That is better for you, but no. When the assembly prayer is finished, then disperse in the land and seek of Allah's grace and remember Allah much that you may prosper. And as I said, we are referring to the ritual prayer in congregation and the amount of degrees, blessings that we get, 27 times more. It is more extent than the ritual prayer performed by a single person. Here's where we are attempting to link the building of the masculine vicegerency and the responsibility to the larger issue of male crisis. Because when we assume the role of leaders, it's only then we accept our responsibility. Leading a ritual prayer, the imam, is more excellent than calling people to the ritual prayer, the azan. Ritual prayer in congregation, the jama'ah, is an emphasized sunnah for men who have no excuse. When some people remain absent from a certain ritual prayer in congregation, the Prophet warned, peace be upon him, I have intended to order a man to lead the ritual prayer and myself go to those who did not attend it and burn their houses. A healthy man leading a ritual prayer is correct if he fulfills the following 6 stipulations. 1, Islam, he must be a Muslim. 2, he must be maturity, which has been defined in previous Khutba. The Imam, that is, one who leads the ritual prayer, must be mature. A child cannot legally lead the ritual prayer. Sanity must be saved. One leader in the ritual prayer must be a male person. Of course, there are conditions where a female can be females. The man standing in ritual prayer must be able to recite Quran from memory of any verse, the reading which makes ritual prayer correct. But what about our responsibility for following the Imam? Stipulation for following the Imam. If persons following the Imam, one who leads the ritual prayer, is legally valid if he fulfills 14 stipulations, which are as follows. I cannot go through the 14, I'll just go through 1 or 2 because it's not relevant to go through those. The follower, the muqtadi, that is you and I, makes the intention of following the Imam in close touch with the utterance of Allah, Allahu Akbar, made at the start of the ritual prayer. Making of this intention is in addition to the making of the intention for the ritual prayer. A woman following a male imam is correct if he makes the intention of leading the ritual prayer performed by the woman. So we must be aware. This is true in the case of the Friday Assembly prayer as well as the two-week prayer. And this continues. But I just want to touch a little bit on some of the things associated with the imam. And this does not mean an imam in the masjid. It means the imam as the vicegerent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only an imam of a masjid, because all of us, I have made the point before, that all of us are imams of our homes, of our community, etc. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that we are vicegerent. We are His representatives. Should the dweller in a house in which people have gathered, or the man in charge of leading the ritual prayer, that is the imam of the locality, or the man in authority, that is the political ruler, or the magistrate or the judge, be not present among those who have assembled, then the man who most deserving to lead the ritual prayer is the one who is the most learned in the rules of ritual prayer, through, although not of other subjects. The judge or the magistrate had the preference over the imam of the mosque. This is clearly stated in the tradition. Next to the most learned man is he who is best in Quran, reading by observing its rules. Next to him is the most pious man. Next to the oldest man. Next is the man whose character is the best, for such a man will be lenient to the devotee. Next is he whose countenance is most beautiful, that is the way he recites, etc. Next is the one who is the noblest in lineage. Next is the one whose voice is the sweetest. Next is the man whose clothes is the cleanest. Should all these people be present, be equal in qualities, either lots will be cast, or the people will select someone to lead their ritual prayer. If they differ in their opinion, it is the majority opinion that rules. If the majority chooses one who is not best, it does something wrong, but has not committed a sin thereby. It is disliked by law that the following people should lead a ritual prayer: a slave, a blinded person, a villager who is ignorant, a bastard son who is ignorant of religion and who is not pious. So it is stated clearly here that a bastard son who is not ignorant of religion, who is learned and who is pious, and we can't tell, is allowed to lead the prayer. A man who commits major sins even though he is learned in religion. A heretic, that is one who believes in or does anything, he doesn't believe in anything specific for himself, and does anything that has no basis in the teaching of Quran and Sunnah. It is decided by the law that the Imam should lengthen the ritual prayer he is needed to such an extent that it becomes burdensome for the followers. Likewise, it is decided that naked persons or women should perform ritual prayer in congregation. In the case of women, the reason is fear of disturbance, and they will know what we are talking about here. If women perform ritual prayer in their own congregation, their female man will stand in the middle of them, keeping their head slightly ahead of the others. Should the follower, and that is us, we should take note here, should the follower, whether an adult or child, whose sense of discrimination has started functioning, be only one. He will stand by the right side of the Imam and behind his heel. It comes from sometimes there's two persons, one called Ikama, the person will stand at the right side of the heel of the Imam. It is disliked by the law that he should stand by the left side of the Imam or behind him, as what is normally done if you have a full line or more than three. If the followers are more than one, they will stand behind the Imam. In a ritual prayer in congregation, the first line of the devotees will be that of male adults. Behind them will stand boys. Behind whom will be one to be the line. Behind whom will stand women if they are present. It is sunnah that the Imam should ask the devotees to make the line straight. The Prophet ﷺ said or commanded, make your lines straight so that your minds may be straight to Allah. Be very close, touching the bodies of others, so that the divine mercy may be bestowed upon you. Make your, again continues, make your lines straight, stand touching the shoulders of other devotees. Close up the vacant space in the line, and do not leave spaces or places for Satan. Allah established relationship with him who joins the line in ritual prayer, and he cuts off relationship with him who cuts off the line by leaving space in it. My dear brothers and sisters, this is very serious, because this is some of us, this is our Hajj. And this is the season that we should be concentrating on, this period, the Hajj, and that we make our ritual prayer or Friday prayer our Hajj, inshallah. The first line is the best of all lines in the ritual prayer congregation. Next to this is the second, then the third, and so on. The Prophet said, peace be upon him, said, the divine mercy is bestowed first on the Imam, then it passes over to one who is opposite to him in the first line, then to those on his right side, then to those on the left side, then it passes over to the straight line and other lines in the same way. My dear brothers and sisters, if we as a people are in crisis, and there is no doubt, in leadership, then it has to be referred back. It has to be connected to our worship to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we must question ourselves. I am questioning myself. Am I representing the Allah, or am I being his vicegerent here on earth in the manner in which he says that we should be? So that the barakat that is promised us that will flow through or from him to the Imam, through the lines to us, will be present in our lives at home, in schools, in the community, throughout the world. Because nobody else has the solution but the Muslims. The Muslims, my dear brothers and sisters, we have the solution. We have the solution to take care of all the ills of society. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our devotion, especially this period, my dear brothers and sisters. May He give us, or make all of our Hajj, and I am saying with reference to Friday, Jummah, in terms of the reference to Hajj, as yes, you can say, make it acceptable for us, for those of us who cannot proceed on to the Holy Land. And may He use this period, inshallah, to help us to hear. And that is why we take this time to visit the airport whenever one of our brothers or sisters or anybody in our locality is going to the Holy Land. It brings the awareness to us so that we, inshallah, when means permit, will visit that Holy Land, inshallah.